Imagine a world where the most powerful person on the planet can make decisions that change the lives of millions, yet most of what they do remains completely invisible to the public. The President of the United States is not just a leader. They wield powers that often go beyond what you see on television or read in the headlines. The decisions made behind closed doors can shape the economy, influence foreign nations, and even decide the fate of wars, all while the public watches only the carefully curated narrative presented to them. You think you know what the president can do, but there are layers of authority that are rarely discussed outside elite circles. The first hidden power lies in control over information. The president has access to intelligence that the average citizen cannot even imagine. Agencies like the CIA, NSA, and other parts of the intelligence community gather secrets from every corner of the world. This information isn't just for situational awareness. It can be used strategically to influence foreign governments, manipulate markets, or push certain political agendas without public knowledge. Often, entire policies are built on classified briefings that remain hidden for decades. The public sees the result, but not the calculations or the risks involved in the decision-making process. Another layer of hidden power is the ability to shape the economy in ways that aren't obvious. While interest rates and fiscal policy are largely influenced by Congress and the Federal Reserve, the president has indirect levers of control that can be massive. Executive orders, emergency declarations, and national security measures can dramatically affect industries, stock markets, and employment trends. These moves are sometimes justified under the banner of public interest, but they can also serve strategic goals that few outside of Washington understand. Behind the ceremonial signing of bills and public speeches lies a complex web of influence that determines who wins and who loses in the American economy. The president also controls a massive global influence network. Beyond the publicized diplomacy, there are shadow negotiations, back-channel communications, and private meetings that rarely make headlines. These interactions can prevent conflicts, form alliances, or even topple regimes, all without the public ever hearing about it. Think about it. Wars are sometimes avoided not because of public debate, but because of secret agreements negotiated by a single person with access to unparalleled resources and intelligence. This is the world of decisions that shape the course of history while remaining largely invisible. Perhaps the most chilling power is the president's ability to act in times of national emergency. Under certain laws, the president can bypass Congress, mobilize military resources, control critical infrastructure, and even suspend certain legal protections. These powers are intended to protect the nation, but they also come with enormous potential for overreach. The public is largely unaware of just how much authority rests in the hands of one person during moments of crisis, because these mechanisms are rarely tested in everyday life, but they exist, fully ready, just beneath the surface. What the public sees is a polished version of leadership, with speeches, press conferences, and campaign promises. What is hidden is a much deeper, more intricate reality. A reality where decisions made in secrecy can reverberate for decades. The president is not merely a figurehead. They are the gatekeeper to a level of influence most people cannot even begin to imagine. And as the world changes faster than ever, the consequences of these hidden powers grow even more profound. Understanding them is not just fascinating, it is essential for anyone who wants to grasp how America really works. The hidden powers of the U.S. president don't stop at intelligence and emergency authority. Another layer lies in the ability to influence law enforcement and the justice system in ways the public rarely sees. While the president cannot rewrite laws at will, they can shape how laws are enforced, which cases get attention, and which priorities take center stage. Decisions about federal prosecutions, oversight of agencies, and even the appointment of special prosecutors can dramatically alter the course of political and criminal investigations. This is not about daily law enforcement. It's about a subtle, yet profound, ability to set the nation's legal and political agenda in ways that remain largely invisible to citizens. The public sees headlines, but they rarely see the strings being pulled behind the scenes. Another hidden power is the influence over information beyond intelligence, this time in the realm of public perception. The president, with the support of federal agencies and media channels, can strategically frame narratives, emphasize certain facts while downplaying others, and even use subtle messaging to shift public opinion. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's the reality of political communication at the highest level. Carefully timed announcements, selective leaks, or even the way data is presented to the public can change the national conversation almost instantly. Millions of people might believe they are forming opinions independently, but in reality, the messaging has often been guided, crafted, and deployed from offices that few can enter. The president also holds hidden powers in the global arena that often go unnoticed. Beyond public diplomacy, there are economic sanctions, trade negotiations, and covert operations that can alter the balance of power internationally. Decisions made in secret can destabilize governments, protect allies, or force rivals into concessions, all without a single headline in the morning paper. While these actions are justified in the name of national security or foreign policy, they reveal a deeper truth. The president's reach extends far beyond domestic politics. One person's decision, made in a secure briefing room, can ripple across continents, affecting millions of lives without anyone outside elite circles even knowing why it happened. One of the most extraordinary hidden powers comes in the form of executive influence over technology and communication infrastructure. Modern presidents have unprecedented access to emerging technologies, surveillance systems, and critical digital networks. These tools are not just for monitoring threats. They can shape information flow, detect vulnerabilities, and even influence the digital landscape in ways the public cannot see. While these powers are often framed as protective, they also represent an immense level of control over the very fabric of society. Imagine decisions being made every day that affect privacy, security, and even freedom of information, all without public awareness. The scale of this influence is staggering, and yet it is one of the least discussed aspects of presidential authority. Perhaps the most intriguing hidden power is the ability to prepare for scenarios most Americans cannot even imagine. Continuity plans, secret bunkers, emergency powers, and classified strategies exist to ensure the president can act decisively in virtually any crisis. This preparation is meticulous, exhaustive, and intentionally invisible to the public. It guarantees that the office can operate in ways that most citizens would never suspect, maintaining national security but also centralizing decision-making power like never before. Understanding these powers changes how we view leadership, not as ceremonial, but as deeply strategic and profoundly influential. Beyond what most Americans are aware of, the president's influence can extend into areas that seem almost unimaginable. One of the most powerful yet rarely discussed abilities is control over national security policy in ways that can bypass typical oversight. While Congress is supposed to act as a check, the president often has the authority to deploy intelligence operations, special forces, and other covert measures without immediate public disclosure. These decisions can prevent threats, shape global power dynamics, or even manipulate outcomes in foreign elections, all while the public remains largely unaware. The true scale of this authority is only glimpsed in historical moments when whistleblowers, leaks, or declassified documents reveal the depth of decision-making that occurred behind closed doors. Closely tied to this is the president's influence over the military. While the commander-in-chief role is widely recognized, few realize the extent to which a president can use this position to shape strategy, weapons development, and even troop deployments in ways that never make headlines. Small, seemingly obscure orders can have far-reaching consequences. Entire operations can be planned and executed with minimal public knowledge, sometimes only becoming known years later through history books or investigative reporting. The president can decide when and where military power is applied, often weighing classified intelligence, strategic goals, and long-term national interests that the public cannot see or fully understand. Another hidden power lies in the realm of appointments. Beyond judges and cabinet members, the president influences thousands of key positions across federal agencies, boards, and commissions. Each appointment can subtly shift policy, change priorities, and alter the way rules are enforced. This influence doesn't always make headlines, but it shapes daily governance, from environmental regulations to financial oversight. By strategically placing loyal or like-minded officials in critical positions, the president creates an invisible network that ensures their policies and philosophies continue to have effect. Long after a decision is publicly announced, or even long after they leave office, the ability to influence public opinion through symbolic and psychological measures is another less obvious yet potent power. Presidential speeches, ceremonial actions, and even the timing of decisions are carefully crafted to guide perception. Sometimes it's subtle, like signaling economic stability through confident statements, or more strategic, such as framing crises in ways that minimize panic or redirect focus. Millions of Americans may feel they are reacting spontaneously, but often these responses are shaped by highly calculated strategies developed by experts in messaging, psychology, and media. This makes the president not just a political figure, but a central architect of national perception. Finally, consider the power of secrecy itself. Every president operates within a network of classified information, confidential meetings, and undisclosed strategies. Decisions made in this hidden environment can affect lives, economies, and even the course of history. Yet most citizens never hear about them until years later, if at all. The capacity to act without public interference, to make rapid and far-reaching decisions, and to leverage information that is entirely inaccessible to ordinary Americans is a defining feature of presidential power. It is a power both awe-inspiring and daunting, a reminder that what the public sees is only a fraction of the reality. The presidency, in its essence, is a mix of public display and private authority. The more you learn about the hidden powers, the clearer it becomes. The person in this office is not just a leader among equals, but a figure with unparalleled ability to shape events in ways most Americans will never witness. Understanding these hidden layers is crucial for anyone who wants to truly grasp the scope of power in modern America. History shows us just how far the hidden powers of presidents can reach. Consider moments when these powers shaped the world without the public ever knowing. Covert operations, secret negotiations, and back-channel diplomacy have changed the course of wars, toppled governments, and redirected economies. Often, the decisions behind these actions were made by a single individual, weighing classified information, strategic interests, and political risk, all while the nation continued its everyday life, oblivious to the forces at play. These moments highlight that presidential power is not just about what we see on the surface. It is about the unseen decisions that ripple across decades. Even domestic policy can be profoundly influenced by hidden presidential authority. Executive orders, regulatory adjustments, and emergency powers can be used to achieve goals that appear ordinary in public view, but are monumental in effect. From influencing healthcare policy to shaping technology regulations, the president can create change without the lengthy process of public debate. This is why, in some cases, a single signature on a document can have consequences that last far beyond a term in office. It is a subtle but potent reminder that leadership at this level is both visible and invisible, celebrated in speeches, yet executed in secrecy. One of the most remarkable aspects of these hidden powers is their ability to endure. Policies, decisions, and appointments made quietly can continue to shape the nation long after a president leaves office. Successors inherit not only the visible challenges of governance, but also the consequences of choices made behind closed doors. This continuity shows that presidential influence is not limited to headlines or political campaigns. It is an enduring force, quietly steering the direction of the country, and at times, the world. Understanding these hidden powers also changes how we perceive accountability. While elections and media scrutiny focus on public actions, the true measure of presidential influence often lies in decisions that are never fully visible. This is why history sometimes judges leaders differently from how contemporaries experience them. A president's most significant impact may be hidden from public view, yet it can alter the course of history in ways that are profound, lasting, and sometimes controversial. As citizens, knowing this changes the way we engage with politics. Awareness of these hidden powers allows us to see beyond speeches and headlines, to question what we are not being told, and to recognize that leadership is more complex than it appears. The presidency is not just a symbol of democracy, it is a position of extraordinary influence, capable of shaping nations, economies, and lives in ways most people will never fully grasp. If you found these revelations intriguing, imagine what else might be hidden beneath the surface of American politics today. Understanding these unseen layers is not just curiosity, it is empowerment. By paying attention, asking questions, and thinking critically, we can better grasp the reality of power in our world.